The marble floor echoed with the sharp crack of a hand striking skin. "Don't you ever touch my things again!" screamed Mrs. Charlotte Hayes, a wealthy socialite known for her extravagant lifestyle and cruel temper. The young housekeeper, Elena, stood frozen, her cheek burning red. Her trembling hands clutched the silver tray she had accidentally dropped moments earlier. The guests, dressed in glittering gowns and tailored suits, gasped. Some looked away, others whispered. Charlotte smirked. "You're just a maid. Know your place." Elena's eyes filled with tears, but she said nothing. She needed this job. Her little boy was sick, and she couldn't afford to lose another paycheck. And just as Charlotte turned around, proud of her public humiliation, the front door creaked open. The room fell silent. Everyone turned to look, and what they saw made even Charlotte's face turn pale. Because the man standing at the door was not just anyone. It was the mansion's true owner. Introduce characters, world, and emotional stakes, Elena had been working at the Hayes residence for only 2 months. She was kind, quiet, and hard-working, and a single mother who left home before sunrise just to keep her son Daniel fed and in school. The job paid well, but Charlotte Hayes treated her staff like property. Her husband, Richard Hayes, had built his fortune from nothing, but Charlotte, born into money, believed wealth made her superior. To the guests, she was the image of perfection. Designer dresses, charity dinners, glossy magazine features, but behind closed doors she was impatient, controlling, and cruel. That morning, Charlotte had been hosting a private luncheon for her high society friends. Elena was serving drinks when she noticed Charlotte's pearl bracelet had fallen under the table. When she bent down to pick it up, one of the guests, trying to help, accidentally nudged the glass tray, sending a crystal goblet crashing to the floor. Before Elena could explain, Charlotte's voice rang out like thunder. "You clumsy fool! Do you know how much that cost?" Elena apologized repeatedly, tears filling her eyes. But Charlotte didn't stop. She wanted to make an example of her, in front of everyone. And then came the slap. Hard, loud, public. No one dared to interfere. The rich rarely do, until the door opened. Standing in the doorway was a tall, well-dressed man in his mid-40s, James Walker, a respected businessman and philanthropist. The room fell silent instantly. Charlotte froze. She recognized him immediately. "Mr. Walker," she stammered, her voice trembling. James's cold eyes swept across the room, then landed on Elena, her cheeks still red, her hands shaking. "What's going on here?" he asked calmly. One of the guests whispered, "She slapped her maid." James stepped closer, his tone icy. "Her maid?" He turned to Charlotte. "Funny, because that maid is not yours to slap." Everyone looked confused. Charlotte tried to recover. It was just a misunderstanding. She broke, "Enough," his voice cut like a knife. Then he turned to Elena gently. "Are you all right?" Tears welled in her eyes as she nodded. Charlotte's face went pale. "You know her?" James nodded slowly. "Yes, Elena works for me. This entire estate, this house, and belongs to me. You've been living here temporarily, while your husband negotiates the property deal." A murmur spread across the room. Charlotte looked stunned. "What do you mean?" James continued. "And while I was deciding whether to finalize the sale, I wanted to see how you treated people who had less than you. Now I have my answer." Charlotte's hand shook. "Please, it was a mistake. But it was too late. The humiliation she had just caused came back full circle. The emotional justice moment." James turned toward the guests, his voice steady but firm. "Let this be a lesson. Wealth doesn't make you better. Kindness does." He faced Charlotte one last time. "You may pack your things. You'll be leaving this house by tonight." Gasps filled the air. Charlotte's perfect image shattered before her audience. Her hands trembled as she tried to speak, but no words came. Elena, still standing silently, tried to intervene softly. "Sir, please." "I don't want any trouble." James smiled gently. "You've done nothing wrong. Elena, you showed grace where others showed cruelty. You belong here more than she ever did." He handed Elena an envelope. Inside was a letter of promotion, and a new job offer as head house manager for his properties. Elena broke down in tears. For the first time she felt seen, respected, human. Charlotte, meanwhile, stormed out of the room, her designer heels clicking like broken pride across the marble floor. The guests pretended not to look, but everyone knew the queen of the town had fallen. That evening, Elena walked home to her son with a smile she hadn't worn in years. When little Daniel saw her, he ran into her arms. "Mom, why are you crying?" She laughed softly. "Because, baby, good people don't always lose." Meanwhile, news of the incident spread quickly among the city's elite. People whispered about the slap that cost a woman her mansion. A few weeks later, Elena returned to the estate, not as a servant, but as the new manager. Staff members greeted her with respect, and even the gardeners smiled with pride. James approached her one afternoon and said, "I didn't just see a housekeeper that day. I saw strength. Don't ever forget that." She nodded, tears glistening. "Thank you, sir, for believing in me," he smiled. "You earned it." And as the sun set behind the mansion, its golden rays reflected off the marble floor, the same floor where she once stood humiliated. Now it was hers to walk upon with dignity. That day, they learned never to judge a woman by her uniform, because behind every servant's silence, there might be a queen in disguise.